Hi everyone, Bethany here with Rough Beginnings. I wanted to prep you for a video you're about to see, which seems like we're not doing anything, but we're doing a whole lot. So something I really love e-collar for is a hands-off approach to interrupting or de-escalating arousal early. You guys know that I use it for that, but also to interrupt the patterns of nervousness. Not all dogs need this, but if you have a dog that has aggression issues, severe fear issues, or flight issues, or they're just worry all the time, when they have their ears back and relaxed, they seem relaxed, they're actually pinned back and nervous, and they get the big eyes. Sometimes they're called whale eyes, and they focus those whale eyes on one thing, one person. I call it the creepy stare. And they don't unlock from that. They just keep staring at it for several seconds, or they stare and track the person or dog or kid, whatever it might be. It could be a leaf blowing they could be scared of, where they've got the bigger eyes, ears are pinned back, and they just track it. They're really worried, and they shouldn't be corrected, but they should be interrupted. Okay, here is a video of Bug, a dog that can be aggressive and is very concerned about his life and interrupting those moments of arousal. So much of it is, it's not perfect. So much of it is just about making choices based off the dog that you've worked with in front of you. So you might see me let something go and then make sure I target the next several somethings. Okay, so it's not all perfect. You have to play around with your dog. It's a very nuanced way of training. I really love it. But if you're new to it, you just go after everything. But again, let me be clear. I'm not talking just about arousal with the ears forward. I'm talking about when a dog is nervous and staring at something. You need to interrupt that too, not with a big correction or anything. That's not it. We're just interrupting that cycle of concern. Okay, we're saying, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. So we're chipping away at the nervousness and the anxiety. All right, so where we are right now, we are bound to get a few people that just kind of walk up on us from one side or the other that I can work off of. I would probably, for any hyper-focused ears, forward ears, tap and say no, and then get up, have him work on a task, which would be hopping down from here. Very neutral tone. I'm very low on the e-collar for him. I'm an 11. I know his ears didn't hyper-focus, but he did look at that guy walking with his son and start tracking them a little bit. That's an NO as well, even if his ears are back. This might depend on the individual dog, but for him, it has to be an NO. Anyway, we are at enough of a distance where I'm not gonna, make any parents angry, or worry them. I don't think I'm making anyone angry, but I don't want to worry any parents. We're back here, but we're still in the thick of it, able to hear lots of stuff. I was just watching him if he was gonna focus in on any one person, and he can just exist and learn not to creepy stare at people. So here's a family coming in. He has not moved his eyes off his family. No, you're good. I'm just telling him to relax. I wish he'd pant. Open mouth pant, that would be great, but he's usually too worried to do that in this cooler weather. It'd be nice if he'd open his mouth and breathe though. That's when you know they're processing a little better. There's a dog coming up behind me, so I'm just gonna go up a bit, see what he does. He's still worried about the family that's coming in. Any people out of the ordinary, like if everybody else is standing still and someone's walking in or walking away, the dog is going to start to track that. Dogs that are insecure, they're going to start to track that. So I'm going to scroll back down because the dog passed. No, just at a 7, no big deal. A little tap, look at him see him kind of swallow. It's like, just breathe, buddy. Just blink, move away, swallow, pant. I'm not telling him he can't look at people, but I'm telling him that he can't creepy stare and that you just need to blink a little bit, between looking at people. That's all. Just breathe. So I'm just interrupting that cycle of concern, okay? Let's call it that. I'm not really doing a serious correction or anything, you know, at this level, but I'm interrupting, and his ears aren't aroused, so I'm not interrupting arousal. I am interrupting the cycle of being concerned. We got this guy jogging across the field. That'd be the next focus, I would imagine. There it is. Now he glanced away. And he's working his nose. Look at that. Got some nose work, which is good. Here we go. Too long. No. So even though the guy wasn't jogging anymore, he's still kind of a lone wolf out there. Hyper focused on him. Anyway, guys, hopefully this gives you some clues. Oh, we're doing it again, maybe. No, he looked away. And so anyway, it's just lots of observing. It's lots of I did tap. I feel like he was trying to be subtle about just checking in with that guy one more time. But I know it's a lot of managing his emotions until one day he learns how to manage them better himself. He's got to know that I'm in complete control of him as well as the environment to be able to take a dog like this. So let's say one of the guys there turn around and walk towards us. He would hyper focus immediately, and if they walked right at us, I would tap and say no and get up and go, let's go, and walk immediately, settle down, and walk immediately in the opposite direction, even just a few steps, then turn. I'm not going to avoid. I want to see how this plays out. So then I would turn and walk right towards the guy again. And if he didn't bubble around me, I'd bubble around him. Or if the guy was going to talk to me, which does happen, they ask me questions about the muzzle or make funny comments, people do. Sit. Good, especially because this is like a really nice community. I'd smile as I turned around and walked the other way again. I'd be like, hey, and I would turn around and walk the other way again. And I would just do laps. We call it pressure on, pressure off. And if the guy kept creeping up and I felt uncomfortable or couldn't control him, I would just cut off in the opposite direction. I'd be like, sorry, training, and just move on, you know? So anyway, something I've gotten before is, I'd really like your card. And I'm like, okay, well, can you stop right there? You know, you really give people direction and they'll do it. They don't know any better. They don't know any better. Anyway, that's just for trainers. But even if you get someone asking you questions about the muzzle or something, it gives you an opportunity. Just want to give you the confidence to be like, oh, can you stop right there if you want to talk to me? You got to be clear. You got to be clear. Okay, so I'm not going to do a super loose leash walk. I'm just going to work him a bit. There's a tap. See, he's not connected with me at all. So if I just force a heel, I'm only forcing it. He's not getting to make any decisions. Outside, that's something that happens a lot. It just is what it is. But I had to tap again. But if I'm surrounded by heavy distractions, but yet I've got this, I just happen to find this big open space. There we go, finally a turn without me tapping. I can work around, that's a tap. I can work in this busy area at a safe distance with a little slack. No, to just give him room to make a mistake, not be so demanding. No. Good decision. Let him really settle into that. I don't mind some observing. It is a little excessive, but I'm going to choose to let it go. Let's go. And I basically want to work him until he puts himself into heel. That would be the goal. It's a little better. See how long it lasts. But anyway, guys, sometimes when you get through these tough, busy situations, I did tap, you got a short leash and you're manipulating a lot of how your dog feels, what your dog does, where your dog is. It's very important, you have to. But when you get an opportunity to work them a bit more loose leash, trainers call this the J leash. You want to do it. So I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to tap and hold. There we go. Good job, buddy. Good boy. Let him settle into that. Let's go. Anyway, guys, hopefully this gives you some ideas. If I didn't have such a good position right here, I could just go to that walkway, which is not very busy right now. And I could just work that path up there you know, with all this going on down here. Especially if I was uncomfortable being so in the middle, you know? Let's go. Now I'm going to suck my leash back up and we'll head out of here. Oh. Good.